What's going on, everybody?
Yo,
It's the
yo,
Man to Man.
yo.
It's the Man to Man Sports Podcast. It's your host, Mr. Man, and I got my guy Nate.
Hey, you know how we do it. You know what I mean? Know how we coming?
Hey, we doing everything virtual today, man. We just happy to be back. I've been a little bit under the weather. Been out sick, but Josh and I are back. Headed toward the
Man,
25th episode, and if y'all wondering why I'm talking so much, like I don't normally do this, is because I'm delaying the inevitable right now. Because for the last time we was together, ladies and gentlemen, uh,
we already know. We
before
already
I
know.
got
We gonna give him his own segment, y'all. We gonna give him his own segment. Then where he can clear the air. You know what I mean? We already know what it is. And you only make sure you clear your throat, get you some water. I know your throat might be a little parched, so get you
man,
some water. You know.
look, look, you won fair and square, but before we remind everybody what it
Uh
is,
huh.
I'm trying my best to
Hey, it's
I'm
cool.
trying
Let's
my best.
go. Let's go. You know what? You know what we'll do. We'll go to that. I'll let you, build up to it. Right, right. Because you're gonna have to
Oh,
say it regardless. You know what I mean?
I feel
But
so bad. I'm a
I
man of
do.
my word. I'm gonna do it.
I will say this. The Super Bowl was a pretty good game, and that's all you can. That's all you can ask for, right?
Oh yeah,
You
oh
know,
yeah, oh
it,
yeah.
it was. It wasn't a blowout. You didn't know, kind of. It felt like the 49ers should have been up more than what they was, but the game didn't get away from either team, right?
Yeah.
At first, we thought, oh, the 49ers was going to blow it out, whatever, and then here comes the Chiefs, right? And it just went back and forth and back and forth. And it was actually more of a defensive game than what I thought it was going to be. I had
Yeah.
predicted score. I know we didn't talk about the score, but I had predicted around 34 to 17, 34 to 24. I thought Kansas City, the second half, they was going to play better, which they did, but they had got probably behind so much that, and with turnovers and all that type of stuff, like I thought it was going to be more of an offensive game. Um, but overall, like I said, Mahomes, Andy Reid, you, you, you ain't gonna be able to beat that, and their offensive skill set is second to none mentally. That
Yeah.
ain't all physical. You know what I mean? So, and what they can do. Even with all they went through this season, with the turmoil, with the wide receivers can't catch the ball, to the first 4 weeks, we didn't think they were gonna be in the Super Bowl. To the
No.
last 5 weeks, they playing exceptional ball. Even though to be honest, I thought probably the game before this, nah, maybe a game for that, cause they played Baltimore tough. Um, that they had their best playoff game. The last two games been a little tougher, been more of what we kind of expect from the Chiefs, being having a young wide receiver core and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But they came together, did what they need to do, right? That's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah. Well, before I get started on my little input, I want to give a shout out to uh to the boy Josh Purvis, man. Every time I see him, every time he come into the store, he always asking about the podcast, man. And he funny anyway. But shout out to the boy
Yeah,
Josh Purvis, man.
yeah. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Hey,
Also, I'm gonna give a
he always come in with the goods, with the apparel.
oh yes, boy, that boy gave me a
Yeah,
hat that's so tough. I like, boy, I'm finna wear this thing. Josh
yeah. He
Purvis
always come
with
in.
the goods.
Yeah, yeah. He gonna make sure. Hey, man. Hey, keep it clean, man. Keep it clean.
I also want to give a shout out to a young, I don't know her name, but she follows our page. She has a page full of douche hounds and little sausage dogs. Are you bored? That's the title of her page. I want to give her a shout out, man. I appreciate the comments. She be giving some positive feedback, especially during the Taylor Swift situation. But yeah, man. just to piggyback on what you were saying about the Super Bowl real quick. I thought it was a good game as well. There were a lot of total turnovers at first on both sides, and for whatever reason, I have one problem, well, two problems with the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you're right. Of course, you're right. The Kansas City, they just came together at the right time during the playoffs, right at the end of the season, going into the playoffs. They made everything work. I think they changed up their scheme a little bit. I don't think they effectively threw the ball in the flats and over the
Mm-hmm.
middle instead of down the field a little bit more. And they ran the ball a lot better with Pacheco.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think my problem with the 49ers is the main thing is how do you have all those so-called weapons and you can't put them in the hands for them to make plays? I think Kerry Kittles maybe had one pass in the first half or something like that, and I think that was on a penalty. Um, Debo Samuel got hurt a little bit, I think, but he still couldn't. He still didn't do anything. McCaffrey, he did his thing a little bit, but the second part was the defense and how they kept Patrick Mahomes under control until the fourth quarter, going into the overtime. And I just when they got to overtime, I already knew it was over with. Yeah, it was
You
just
know,
over with.
I would like to look at the overall. I think I know the first half. The 49ers had the ball more than the Chiefs, obviously. But
Yeah,
I would like to see what the overall time of possession was. Um, because obviously, with the 49ers having the ball and having more time of possession, that's actually like offense turning into defense because
right,
you're not letting Mahomes have the ball and let him do whatever he can do. Um,
right.
so I would actually overall I would like to kind of see if we can look that up and see what the time of possession was. But I do think the 49ers defense did as much as they can do. And
Mm,
I will say this, I do not like the firing of the 49ers defense coordinator.
yeah, that was kind of
I do
suspect.
not.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, that was a head coach. It was some schemes where he had to call timeout, he had to waste timeout, whatever. That happens. You're the head coach, right? But
mm,
right now, Shanahan, I mean, he had the stigma of can't win the big game.
yeah,
I mean, and
yeah,
that's you know, and that was both times he was up by a good amount and had control of the game, which is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
So now it's like, okay, now we're gonna have to look into coaching and what you're doing. But I do think that was more of a throw off type of firing just to take the heat off of Shanahan. I think that kind of what it was. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I think it was like, hey, I need to do something. Who go first? You know what I mean? Um, so I
yeah.
think that was it. I think that was that type of splash because you can't out of the whole season now. You had a defensive coordinator, right?
The
And
same
y'all
one. Yep,
y'all got one of the best defenses in the league
all year
all year, all playoffs. You know what I mean?
and
Like
all
so,
playoffs.
and even with them losing, right? You held Mahomes in check for 75, 85% of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, what can you not gonna necessarily stop him? But only thing
Yeah,
you can do is kind of like control what he can do and let
right.
him pretty much dish it out and put it in other people's hands.
Yeah,
But I just I don't think that was a great look. You know what I mean? I think overall, if he was terrible the whole season, okay, all right, fine.
yeah,
You know, I mean, I get it, but the track record wasn't there. It didn't add up, and he will be picked up because he's a good defensive coordinator. But I did not like that. What's your thoughts on that?
no, well, you said everything that I'm thinking. You hit the nail on the head. I think it was a scapegoat fire. I think like you said, for the most part of the Super Bowl, they held Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs up until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
When they came up to tie the game and whatnot. I think most of the San Francisco 49ers problems were on the offensive side of the ball. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I can't remember. I hate when I can't remember the other receiver's name that was making the big plays, big catches. I think it was 85. I think it was maybe 84
Well, who you talking about for who?
for the 49ers. The one that caught the touchdown. I don't know. I wish I cannot remember his name, man. Um. Anyway, but he was the one guy who was producing for the
Oh,
49ers.
number he was number 15.
15 was the 15?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. He had the red hair. I can't think of his name though.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it was the offensive side because the Kansas City Chiefs defense they were getting penetration on uh, Purdy, which made him throw his balls a little bit faster than he wanted to. I think that was part of the pressure that the Kansas City Chiefs was part of the problem, and the main problem to me was not being able to find creative ways. The offensive mind that he's supposed to be, right, could not
Now,
find creative ways to get his best players the ball.
now I will combat that by saying 49ers 85 to 90% of the game they won the line of scrimmage. Now
Mhm.
the if you go back and look at those couple of plays that they got pressure on Purdy, those missed assignments by the offensive line. Because
Mhm.
if that like I think the last one, the last few plays, before old buddy went down there and kicked the field goal, and I think he missed one too.
Mhm.
Um, that play, it was like a wheel route. It was wide open, but he didn't have enough time because one of the, I think it was the guard or the tackle, they missed their assignment. You know what I mean? So with that being said, you know, overall, I think the 49ers had a great game plan, but when they got into the red zone, they just couldn't capitalize.
That's another thing, boy. That oof.
Like, because, I mean, come on. I mean, I know it's an old school coach that's been, he's probably one of the most famous coaches that I know. He always said, when you get in the red zone, you at least got to score. If you get in there 7 times, you got to score a touchdown, at least 5 or 6. If you get 3 points, that's really not a win. That's a win for the defense.
Mhm.
That's what I think was happening too. They got in the red zone so many times and didn't capitalize. And them 3 points is not gonna go a long way. You know what I mean? Especially if you're playing an offensive minded team like the Chiefs. Okay, every time
Mhm.
they go in the red zone, they looking to score. You
Yeah.
know, and it's one of those things where I kind of, it felt like I said to my first point, it felt like the 49ers should have been up way more. But the point that they still had the Chiefs kind of hanging around, that wasn't a good look, especially coming out of that first half. Um,
Yeah, like I said, they held the Chiefs. They did pretty good up until like mid fourth quarter going into overtime, and it was like I say when the Chiefs start making plays and the momentum kind of changed over there to them. I like it's probably gonna be over with.
yeah, and
Uh,
it was almost like a Cinderella type of ending for him. I mean, to be honest, and when it's just like going against Tom Brady, right? You know, and I'm not comparing Mahomes to Tom Brady, but what I'm trying to say is you you gotta you gotta lay them down. You know what I mean? You can't give them the opportunity to crack the door open and come back. You got to go
mm,
ahead and put them away. And the 49ers never put the Chiefs away. And they always left
mm,
that door cracked. And the only thing they had to do
wide
was just,
open.
yeah, the only thing they had to do was just bust through. Because the Chiefs really didn't play that well. And 49ers did everything they could do to win and lose the game. So, it's just one of those things. But that leads up to our bet. And you know what? That segues into I think the best 30 seconds of the show. Because Mr.
Oh
Man
my goodness.
has something to tell y'all. And he wants y'all to know. And I wish I had a spotlight I could just put on you just right now. And just, it's touching. It's touching. I just want to say that it's touching. But you have the floor, Mr. Man. You have the floor.
I want everybody to know, well, especially the San Francisco 49ers. because of y'all, I got to do this, and I don't like it at all, not one bit. So if y'all see this to San Francisco 49ers and San Francisco 49ers fans, I don't y'all piss me off. And I got to say it because y'all lost. I lost the bet. Now, just to recap and remind y'all what the bet was, I, Mr. Man, had to admit in order, number three. Now, before I say this,
Hey, nah. You already
before
said what you
before
need to say. You ain't
before
gotta
I
say
say
nothing else.
this,
They already know. They already know. If you ain't caught it, go watch the previous episode, and you'll know what he's talking about. But come on with it. Come on with it.
Well, I say,
before
Don't
I
slow
say
it
this,
down now.
do we need like a little drum
this
roll
is
or something?
not. No, before I say this is not how I truly feel. This is
Uh-huh.
just I lost the bet. All
Here
right.
you go.
So I had to put in order the goats,
You can't even get
the
it out.
goat. So starting at number three, my number three goat is Kobe Dean Bryant.
Come on.
The number two goat is Michael Air Jordan. So with the loss of this bet, I have
Hey,
to admit
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
the number one goat, and I don't like it, is LeBron James.
There you go.
Oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Wow.
Hey. It feels so good. I had a long day today, and that just make my dreams come true right there.
Oh my goodness.
I just want to say that, and I'm very honored that Mr. Man honored his side of the bet.
I do. I do.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do. I didn't like it, but I do.
it took a lot out of him to say that, but he knows it's true. Anyways,
Hey, think about it. It's always next year,
Well,
guys. It's always next year.
um, but
segueing into the NBA through LeBron James or whatnot. I know you watched All Star Weekend.
man, did I almost died?
Oh my
Like
God.
first of all, I want to throw this out there. All right. Um, the only thing I liked about the All Star break and the All Star weekend was the 3-point contest. That's
I love
included
that. Yeah.
with Steph and Sabrina. Like those was the only event that I liked. The dunk show, trash.
It was
All Star
trash.
All Star game, trash. Like that. So really, to be honest, like that's the only segment of the All Star weekend that I like, and they gonna have to do something about this. Like, and I heard somebody say it was like, well, maybe they're gonna have to up the money. Then I thought about it. I was like, if they
What?
if they up the
That,
if they up the money, they already get paid so many $1 million. That ain't gonna matter. But then I was like,
that's not
hold
gonna make a
up,
difference.
hold up. But I was like, if you really think about it, the in-game season tournament they upped the money and it was like a playoff atmosphere. All those games.
Well,
So
but that
I
I'm
believe
a
I believe it can translate, but
no. Well,
it's gonna have to be like 1 million.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That ain't going. The in season tournament that the play of the in season tournament was more of the NBA pushing the players to make it interesting. So the NBA tournament, the in season NBA tournament, won't be a bust. Now they're gonna have to make some improvement to it anyway,
Yeah.
as far as the formatting or whatnot. But if you listen to the in season tournament time throughout that whole time, all they try to promote was to make all they promoted was how fun it is, how much interaction it is, and all that kind of stuff. They was always trying to push it, the marketing part, to make it sound better than what it really was, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where that come from. I guess the money had a little bit to do with it, but
Mm-hmm.
that was more of the NBA, in my
A
opinion.
lot.
That's more of the NBA pushing the in-season tournament so they can get people to watch it because it was a lot of skepticism. Like you was even skeptical about it at first. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So.
yeah, yeah,
It,
yeah.
so I don't know if the money would help per se because I do agree with you. They already make a lot of money anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
what's the extra $1 million really gonna do?
Now,
Now it might be beneficial to
nah,
somebody who on the low end of the bench. It might be beneficial to them.
nah, $1 million, $1 million. I don't care how much you make, because you got to remember now, if they make say even 50 million, it depends on where they at because they would get taxed heavily. So $1 million, $1 million now. I don't think if you made 30 million and somebody be like, hey, if you play hard, we're gonna give you 1 million for one game. You get out there and strap it up. like like you gonna be like,
I don't
that's
really,
$1 million. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but
So
I don't think it's gonna make a difference though because
well,
like
I see what you're saying.
specifically the dunk contest though, what's gonna make that is guys is gonna have to stop worrying about being embarrassed and losing. Just go out there
Uh-huh.
and just go out there and ball, man. I mean, everybody misses the dunk. Everybody ain't the most creative. You
Hmm.
know, the stars are going to have to go out there. And when you got Jalen Brown competing in the
Yeah,
dunk
that was
contest,
that was terrible. Like he tried to do the little dunk. He didn't even do that.
bruh,
Like
bruh,
it was, and then like he dunked with his left hand. He had the glove on like he was Michael Jackson. Like that was crazy.
it was terrible. It was terrible. And I know no disrespect to Matt McClung. I mean, those dunks were.
Now
I mean,
now I will say this. I will say this. In a perfect world, with the judges didn't make it no better, but in the perfect world, the dunks that he did probably would have been somewhere around third place because
yeah,
they were like innovative. Like I really was kind of up in the air about, because he did the little pump and then he threw the ball up in the air and repump and reversed it back in. Like that's a lot harder than what it seems, and nobody
well, I
had
mean,
ever did that.
that was in my opinion, probably the best dunker of the night. And I think just because he was the better dunker
Yeah.
of all the other ones out of there, he just got the benefit of the doubt because nobody else really
No,
could
no, no,
do.
no, no, no. Not
Well,
not that was the best dunk of the night, but I think it was like second or third lowest score of dunks, which is
well,
crazy.
well, the part of the problem is the judges were judging wrong on how they were supposed to be judging on the actual. Uh, I can't remember exactly, but they were judging it wrong at first. You know what
Oh
I
yeah, cause
mean? They were.
okay, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out on that. So they they was judging off of the attempt. Cause like when he went out there and tried to get the first time, he had missed it. So they were judging, but you only supposed to judge off the make.
On the
So
actual dunk, yeah.
yeah, off the actual dunk. You're supposed to judge that he actually missed it, and I, the judges was terrible to me. And I'm just be frank about it. I felt like it was terrible. You didn't know where they was going or how they was gonna make it. But overall, man, the All Star Weekend was terrible. Now the 3-point contest, I love that because it included the WNBA, which I love the WNBA. And I think that was, she shot better than the regular NBA folks. You know what I mean? Like, so I do think the 3-point contest is getting more competitive, which the bread and butter is supposed to be the dunk contest and then the All Star game, which is crazy. But the All Star game,
Well,
man, was
well, the
terrible.
dunk contest, the dunk contest problem is um, the superstars or the so-called superstars don't want to get out there and be embarrassed. Aaron Gordon, Zach Levine, Vince Carter's, Michael Jordan, Dominique, all those guys were superstars in their own right, and they went out there and did their thing in their own right. Now, I ain't saying they
I was
superstars,
about to say, because
but
Aaron Gordon, not a superstar. Zach Levine,
but
not a
I'm just saying,
superstar.
but I'm talking about as far as entertaining in the dunk contest. Him and Zach Levine put on one of the greatest shows
Oh yeah.
in
Now,
recent
I
history.
I will, and I heard something that Stephen A. Smith said. Um, he talked about, and at first I was mad. I was like, "What? He doesn't know what he's talking about." But then he kind of had a point. I had to kind of calm down when he
Talking
said
about
that
LeBron James.
LeBron. Dang, you gonna let me get it out? I know he number one, but you gonna let me get it out? So when he said like, "Hey, LeBron ruined," that's why y'all gonna disappear. Um, LeBron ruined the dunk contest because now high quality superstars don't want to get into the dunk contest because he wasn't interested. And I was mad. I was like, But then it kind of do make sense because
But
when we look at the dunk contest, we look at, like you say, the Vince Carters, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe's. You know what I mean? Like we look at all these guys that you know they took pride in All Star Game and they took pride in the events. You know what I mean? So also we can look at the game and be like, okay, all right, they took pride, they took it serious, and it was fun. You can always mix fun in there. Um, and now it's like I think the best one was, like you said, Zach Levine and Aaron Gordon. But that was, really to be honest, that was unexpected. You know what I mean? Like we didn't before they went out there the first time. We weren't gonna be like, oh, they just high flyers. They gonna do this. They gonna do that. Nah, they surprised us. When the stars
what
went
the
out there, MJ, Kobe, and all them, we was already like, oh, we know it's gonna be good. We know what they're gonna do. We know it's gonna be this, and that. And we lost that flavor.
well, I mean, well, those guys went into it with a creative thought of what to do in the dunk hunt. They went into it
Mm-hmm.
thinking that I want to win,
Mm-hmm.
but there's always that one. Even if the superstars didn't go, there should be players who can dunk, who may not necessarily get the recognition on their teams, but who can be creative and dunk. I don't know if people don't remember this guy. He was a talent coming out of college at USC. You might not be able to remember him, but his name was Baby Joy Harold Miner.
Mm.
Harold Miner. He dominated the dunk contest. He played for the Miami Heat. Left-handed, was real nice with it. Um, Guys like that, if you go back to the history of the dunk contest, those guys weren't necessarily superstars, but they were great dunkers for that event. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
if
yeah.
you could just, as far as for the event purposes of the dunk contest, if you could just go throughout the rosters of the NBA and look at who can do that, now you got seat fillers, now you got house guys who can make names for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and it could be a competitive event. But when guys are just trying to do it, when the NBA is just doing it just to fill in the gap because they can't find nobody who want to compete, then that's what you get. The result is what you get. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So,
I agree with that because if you look at all the other dunkers, like they wasn't high flyers, they missed dunks. Like it was regular dunks that to be frank, I know they're professional athletes, but most people can do. Like it ain't
yeah.
nothing like like when you look at you're gonna be honest. When you look at the dunk contest, you look at people doing something exceptional. They high flyers. This is something that
Mhm.
maybe 75% of the NBA can't do. And that's why we get thrilled because we like, okay, all right, they are exceptional leapers. They can jump out the building. They're gonna do something freakish, right? Something you're gonna be
Mhm.
like, oh my god, like, I didn't know, they was gonna even do that. So,
Mhm.
um, now I will say, um, out of these last maybe five, they were probably one or two dunkers that would have been in my, six or five. But the Zion, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Lord,
Zion Williams, yeah.
yeah, like like people that
John
we,
Morant,
yeah, John
and
Morant,
Edwards.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like even he said, like I'm just here on the break type ordeal. You know what I mean? Like nobody takes it serious. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have to figure this thing out. And granted, you know, the more dunk contests and the more All Star weekends that pass by, you got to get more creative because people, doing things. But you know, the last what maybe three, four, five probably champions have been creative. So we still
Mhm.
we still show that there's still some stuff that can be done, and there's still some old dunks that are very very impressive that we haven't seen in a while either. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
and just trying to get it all together. I think it's been more of a let's see a fan meet and greet, just like it was close to a meet and greet, really. Just like I said about the Pro Bowl. I think somebody said hashtag Pro Bowl NBA. because that's how bad it was. It was like they were playing flag basketball. That's what they said, flag basketball. Like so, I think we're gonna have to figure this out because it's getting terrible. It's getting unbearable to watch, man. Like, and I like sports, but it's just like I just need to take off that weekend and just go do something else.
Yeah, I heard even Candace Parker when Candace Parker when Damian Lillard was shooting all those threes. She said, all right, dang." You know what I'm
Now
saying? Got
you
to be
know.
ridiculous a little bit.
Hey, now you know what kind of pissed me off a little bit though. Like, and yeah, everybody didn't have any effort or whatever, but when Luca and Joker were just out there, just really like not doing
Oh
it.
my, yeah, just playing around.
See, like it get to a point we know what you can do with it. Like, at least give us a little bit, but it was like I could have went out there and did what they did. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like he throwing the ball off the backboard, he getting hung on a dunk, on an alley oop dunk, and then like just kind of you know what I mean? Like it's terrible. But I don't know. They're gonna have to figure that out because it's I don't know. They got a lot to figure out, man. It was a terrible weekend. I felt bad to say I'm an NBA fan. I mean, it was just that bad.
well, I ain't gonna lie, I still enjoyed it. I mean, just because I'm a basketball fan first anyway,
Hmm.
but the actual product and it was kind of watching it all over these years. That was pretty bad, but overall, I still enjoyed it. I can't wait for the survey to come out because I know they're gonna send me a survey, and I'm sure gonna fill it out.
Oh yeah. Most definitely, most definitely. And like you should say, two thumbs up. Hey, but hey, we appreciate y'all. Hey, as fans, make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, all social medias. Make sure you follow, share, tell your cousin, your grandma, tell everybody you need to know. Share it, share it, and share it, and share it again. Hey, man, we out. Mr. Man, let them know. We out.
Mr. Man to man.
Yo, this the man sports podcast. Y'all know how we coming. You know how we doing. It's me, your boy Nate, and then you got Mr. Who?
Mr. Man. Hey, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We appreciate the love and support. Y'all continue to remember to keep God first, and we'll see y'all next time. Man to man.
Yo, we out.
Follow the Man and Man Sports Podcast on our social media platforms. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Like, share, and subscribe.